Mr. McGregor, you're a rapist. What do you think?
What do you have to say? Say sorry for what has happened.
Do you have any reaction or apology to the women at the centre of this? Do you have a reaction?
No, come on.
Do you have an apology to the women at the centre of this?
What do you have to say about your son? Don't push me again.
Well, there we have no comment from Conor McGregor as he made his way swiftly out of the court building here in Dublin and into his Bentley. Let's remember, focusing as we were just a few moments ago around the events of 2018 in that Dublin hotel. Conor McGregor suggesting that it was consensual sex. Well, the court here heard a very different story.
Conor McGregor, the man himself. Love him or hate him, you can't deny he's one of the most controversial and entertaining athletes on the planet. From his insane UFC fights to his iconic walk into the octagon, McGregor always knows how to grab headlines. But lately, it's not his fights, business ventures, or even his whiskey brand, Proper Number 12, that's got people talking. Nope, it's something much more mysterious. Yeah, McGregor is in way more trouble than he ever imagined. You'd think being guilty in his infamous Dublin case would be the end of the story, but nope, that verdict opened a whole new can of worms. Shortly after, the feds decided to raid his mansion, and what they found, it's enough to leave the entire fight world shook. And trust me, this isn't just a slap-on-the-wrist situation. We're talking about McGregor's entire career, his long-hyped comeback fight, his UFC legacy, and even his global brand, all of it on the line.
Conor McGregor steps into the octagon for the most highly anticipated matchup in the history of the featherweight division. Maybe.
Now let's be real. McGregor's been making headlines for all the wrong reasons these past few years. From bar brawls to heated court battles, it's been a non-stop whirlwind of chaos. But this makes every other controversy look like child's play. Fans are stunned, critics are sharpening their knives, and even his most loyal supporters are asking, how did it come to this? The raid is bigger than anything we've seen before, and the aftermath could be career-ending. Let's break it down. So, here's what happened. The FBI didn't just waltz into Conor McGregor's Ireland mansion for a casual chat. This was a full-scale operation. Reports say federal agents and local authorities worked together in a joint investigation, showing up with warrants and leaving no stone unturned. And what they uncovered inside? Weapons, drugs, and not just a little bit, a lot. The kind of stash that raises some serious red flags. Now, let's start with the weapons. Sources reveal that the arsenal wasn't just your run-of-the-mill collection of licensed guns. We're talking about high-grade, military-style weapons. The kind that makes you wonder, what was Conor even doing with this stuff? And it doesn't stop there. The drug haul was reportedly massive, and authorities say the sheer volume connects him to something much bigger than just personal use. This isn't just party boy McGregor getting caught with a few things he shouldn't have. The amount found points to potential links to underground networks. Yes, we're talking organized crime-level activity.
Developing tonight at 11, it's the mugshot from South Florida now getting attention around the world. Mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor arrested.
And here is the scene at the jail about 45 minutes ago. McGregor posting bond and walking out. He is a free man for now.
This bombshell has everyone asking the same question. How did one of the biggest names in combat sports, a guy who went from rags to riches and became the face of the UFC, end up in this mess? The discovery isn't just bad press, it's a career killer. Think about it. Every fight McGregor's been hyping, every sponsorship deal tied to his name, every future pay-per-view he's set to headline, all of it is in jeopardy. Now, Conor McGregor's legal troubles have been piling up for years, but the infamous Dublin case might be the most damning chapter in his string of controversies.
MMA star Conor McGregor may have been silent as he left an Irish courtroom, having just been found liable for sexual assault, but he later exploded on social media, raging against the woman that a jury says he raped in a hotel room back in 2018. We've got the results from the courtroom, McGregor's weekend meltdown, and what is next for everyone involved in the case as we sit down with a reporter from Dublin. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Conor McGregor, the mixed martial artist known for his brash attitude, both in and out of the ring, now has to pay a Dublin woman around $250,000. Why? Because a weeks-long trial in Irish High Court ended with a jury agreeing that he assaulted this woman, Nikita Hand, sexually assaulted her. The trial has gotten a lot of media attention worldwide. We focused upon it here on Sidebar multiple times, and we're actually going to sit down with a BBC Dublin reporter in just a moment to get further details about what was happening in that courtroom.
Just recently, McGregor was found guilty in a civil court case stemming from a 2018 incident where he was accused of sexually assaulting a woman, Nikita Hand, in a penthouse suite during a Christmas party in Dublin. Hand testified that McGregor placed her in a chokehold, threatened her, and made her fear for her life. Paramedics described the bruising as some of the worst they had seen. Despite McGregor's insistence that the encounter was consensual and his claim that the accusations were part of a full-blown lie, the jury sided with the victim. The court ordered McGregor to pay $248,000 in damages, a ruling that sent shockwaves through the fight world. But this verdict isn't just a financial blow, it's a colossal hit to McGregor's already crumbling reputation. While his legal team is preparing to appeal, claiming the jury didn't hear all the evidence, the damage to his public image is undeniable. McGregor, once the golden boy of the UFC, now carries the label of a convicted sexual assailant in the eyes of many, and that's not something money or bravado can easily erase.
Some of these kids are in the UFC before you're in the UFC, so don't be start trying to say yeah this and that.
As long as you show up for them, maybe if you showed up
show up and break your nose, you little fool, you Bellator tick, you little tick, you want to
Oh, we're gonna do this? We're gonna fight right now? Get out of my way.
For years, McGregor has flirted with controversy, from the infamous bus attack in Brooklyn to allegations of bar fights, infidelity, and drug 55 use. His antics have often been dismissed by fans and the UFC as part of his notorious persona, a brash, unapologetic fighter who thrives on chaos. But this case, it's different. It's not about trash talk or promotional stunts. It's about a woman who bravely came forward to tell her story, despite McGregor's power, wealth, and influence. The victim, Nikita Hand, spoke out after the verdict, sharing her relief at finally receiving justice. Her words are a powerful reminder that speaking up against powerful individuals is never easy, but can lead to change. She's encouraged others to find their voice, regardless of the odds stacked against them. It's a stark contrast to McGregor's public statements, where he's focused more on denying the allegations and less on showing accountability or remorse.
I would like to start off by saying I'm overwhelmed and touched by the support I have received from everybody. First, I want to thank the Coleman legal team and my three barristers, John, Gordon, Ray Boland and Sean. They have been amazing from start to finish. I want to thank Mr. Justice Alexander Owens, the jury, all the witnesses. I want to thank the doctors, nurses and everyone at the sexual assault treatment unit in the Rotunda Hospital for looking after me, especially my own Dr. Frank Clark. I want to thank the Rape Crisis Centre, especially Cleena, who has been by my side throughout this entire period. I want to thank all the guards and the ambulance crew. I want to thank all the women and men out there who have supported me throughout this trial. For every person who reached out to me a card, a letter, email, everything. It hasn't gone unnoticed. Thank you. I really appreciate it so much.
And let's not forget the timing of this raid. Conor's been gearing up for what's supposed to be his big comeback fight. Fans have been buzzing for months about his return to the octagon, speculating who he'll face, how he'll perform, and whether he can reclaim his spot at the top. But with this raid, that comeback might not even happen. The UFC isn't going to just sit back and ignore these kinds of allegations. Dana White, the UFC president, is already known for running a tight ship when it comes to the organization's image. And while Dana has historically been willing to overlook some of McGregor's antics, because, let's face it, McGregor is a cash cow, this might be crossing a line even Dana can't defend.
Hey, a couple quick questions for Conor about your legal issues. Real quick, Conor, what can you tell us?
Yeah, we're here to talk about a fight. Nothing he does outside of fighting. Why you don't gotta keep going there?
The rest of the week is fight questions, I promise.
Why does everybody ask
He
that?
answered these questions, He answered these questions
Can you
yesterday.
tell us anything specifically about the status of the sexual assault allegations in Ireland?
He answered that yesterday on ESPN.
And was there ever a point where you guys were concerned that that might imperil this fight?
Was I?
Either of you?
No.
And it's not just the UFC. Sponsors are already rumored to be reevaluating their deals. Think about it. Major brands like Reebok, Burger King, and his own proper number 12 whiskey empire. If his name gets too toxic, they'll cut ties faster than you can say notorious. For a guy who built an empire off his charisma, bravado, and larger-than-life personality, this could be devastating. But what's really at stake is McGregor's legacy. Love him or hate him, you can't deny he's one of the most influential fighters in UFC history. His rise from a broke kid in Dublin to a global superstar is nothing short of legendary. But legacies aren't just built in the octagon. They're built on what you leave behind. And if this raid ends up tying him to something criminal, it could completely overshadow everything he's accomplished. For fans, this news is a bitter pill to swallow. McGregor has always been a polarizing figure. Some adore him for his charisma and fighting style, while others criticize his arrogance and behavior outside the octagon. This case has deepened that divide. Some fans still stand by him, insisting on his innocence or downplaying the severity of the verdict because it was a civil case and not a criminal one. Others, however, see this as the final nail in the coffin for McGregor's legacy. And just like clockwork, Conor McGregor is out here doing what Conor does best. He Devlin, but doubled down that the encounter wasn't assault. Cue the face palms. In his words, "I should have shut the party down. I should never have stepped out on the woman I love the most in the world. That's all on me." While that might sound like accountability, let's be real. He's not exactly apologizing for what Ms. Hand endured or the trauma she's openly spoken about. Instead, McGregor's focus is all about himself, how he'll bounce back, how his fans have his back, and most importantly, how he's eyeing a UFC comeback. Yes, folks, even with his reputation in tatters, McGregor is still teasing a return to the octagon, telling fans, no more, getting back to the gym. The fight game awaits. Like, sir, read the room.
When you talk about him on the Mount Rushmore, for me, I think he's the first to hold 2 belts. At the same time, all the things that he accomplished, he ignited, not just Europe, but the entire world, and became the biggest superstar, not just in this sport, but in all of sports. You had other athletes mimicking him, all the stuff that he accomplished, and what he did to advance this brand, this company, and the sport itself. So he will fight in 2025. I don't know if you remember interviews with me, I wasn't very confident that he would fight in 2024. But he will fight in 2025.
If this sounds like a man deflecting rather than addressing the weight of his actions, that's because it is. He's trying to pivot the conversation from legal battles and accusations to fight camps and comebacks. It's classic McGregor, steering the narrative back to his career, his legacy, and his next big payday. But here's the thing. The shadow of this verdict looms large. No amount of flashy Instagram posts or gym selfies is going to erase the fact that a jury jury found him liable for assault, and he's been ordered to pay up. His strategy is clear: keep the hype alive, keep the fans engaged, and keep the UFC door open. But the court of public opinion? That's another story. Even in a sport as controversial as MMA, where bad behavior often gets a pass, this is a whole different level of scandal. Sure, the UFC has a history of shrugging off fighters' misdeeds as long as they bring in the dollars, looking at you, John Jones, and Greg Hardy. But McGregor's case isn't just about a wild brawl or a drunken rant. It's about a verdict that hits at the core of his character. So, where does this leave McGregor? In denial, fighting for his career, and banking on his star power to overshadow his controversy. Whether or not that gamble pays off remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure: Conor McGregor isn't going quietly into the night. The Irishman is determined to make his comeback, verdict, backlash, and all. But here's the real question: how many people are still willing to cheer for him? Because at this point, his reputation is on the ropes, and not even a UFC win can KO the shadow hanging over him. So, what do you think about this wild discovery? Is it just another chapter in McGregor's larger-than-life story, or could there be something deeper going on here? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss any news.